So here we are again, talking about CW Flash and Iris West. And, well, I'm not saying that I'm doing this video because the last one I did almost 500,000 views, but I'm also not saying that's why I'm doing it. But frankly, there's a lot to talk about with CW Flash and Iris West and their relationship. And honestly, I always found their relationship to be massively awkward. And ever since I started to kind of rewatching The Flash and seeing the scenes all over again, don't get me wrong, there's times where I'm like, you know what? I like their chemistry. It's not that bad. But there is a lot of, awkward and, not good moments in that whole relationship. And frankly, their relationship is, for an understatement, massively awkward. And there's many reasons why that's the case. And the main reason that a lot of us like to talk about and a lot of us bring up is the fact that they are adoptive siblings. Yeah. So when Barry's mother obviously was killed by the Reverse Flash, but his father would be framed by it, he would go to jail, or his father would go to jail, of course, and Barry would go live with an adoptive father, Joe West, and an adoptive sister, kind of, Iris West. And he would live with them his entire life, borderline all the way up until he's a grown adult working a grown job and literally being a forensic scientist. He is literally goes through most of his life with this family, with the West family. So it's kind of hard to see both Iris West and Barry together when they've literally been borderline siblings. When they've seen each other get dressed in the morning to go to school, when they've done this or that, just normal sister-brother things. And I think I can speak for a lot of us when we say that it's a very odd scenario. And a lot of us believe that it's a very gross scenario in a way, because they really are more than just, they're just friends, right? Oh, they're not related, so it's fine. But when you stay with somebody that long, when you're a kid all the way up until you're a grown adult, it's a lot like you are actual brother and sister. The reality of this is he was adopted by Joe West. At least to a large extent, he was adopted by him. So they are siblings, adoptive siblings, but they are siblings. It's not like, oh, I'm best friends with this one girl and we've been best friends all our lives. That's totally different. Because I'm not with her basically 24/7. I'm with her when, we go to the park or we're at school. No, I'm not going home and being around her 24/7, going to sleep in the same house as her. That's where things get very, very awkward. And the kind of awkwardness kind of continues because Iris does push this idea of them being brother and sister for a while. And honestly, I think most of us were thinking, well, it seems like this is the dynamic that we're going to be getting. Maybe Barry will end up realizing that they are brother and sister, or more brother and sister than anything else. So it should end up being him going and being with somebody else. At least that's what I got from the first season of The Flash for a little bit. It felt like maybe they would try to go down that path initially and Barry would try, but then realize that for the protection of Iris, his family, and really holding on to their relationship, as siblings or adoptive siblings, that he would kind of hold that strong bond but not go any further beyond it, out of respect for Joe West, out of respect for Iris, and so on. We obviously know that's not eventually what happens. We know that they eventually get together, Barry and Iris, and it does feel massively forced for the most part. I think their chemistry isn't terrible in the first couple seasons, and I think even in season 3 it's probably one of the best it is, because we end up getting kind of like emotional moments and this want to really save Iris and blah blah blah, but we really never see beyond that this kind of want and this amazing chemistry between the two. Honestly, when you see interviews between Barry Allen or Grant Gustin and Candice Patton, you see that they have better off-screen chemistry than they do actually on-screen chemistry, which is kind of funny to even think about. And it's no hate to them. I think it has a lot to do with the bad writing, but it does in reality kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth when dealing with both Barry and Iris. Because I get it. Barry Allen or Grant Gustin wanted the relationship to stay canon, or basically the same, stay true to the comics. And I have no issue with that initially. I had no issue with kind of this idea of him actually sticking to the comics, but you kind of set it up in a weird way. The adoptive siblings thing, kind of weird. By kind of, I mean really weird. And then on top of that, you kind of force Iris West down our throats, because we get all these times and all these kind of weird tropes, destined love tropes that continue to kind of overload the story. And it's heavily leaned into the idea that Barry and Iris are always meant to be. From basically the beginning of The Flash to the end of The Flash, it is absolutely shoved in our face that they're supposed to be together. They even have full-on storylines that the only reason why Barry survives and wins and, has success is because his relationship with Iris and because of the love that they have. I'm gonna be honest with you, every single problem doesn't have to be solved by that. It doesn't really make sense to me that Iris was pushed in this way and pushed to be a focal character. It was just an awkward way of making her that focal character. She didn't need to be a team leader of Flash. She didn't need to be this person that was, kind of at the same hierarchy of like your Cisco Ramones or your Caitlin Snows, where they bring a lot of things to the table for Team Flash. Iris West did not need to be a main character. And if you wanted her to be a main character, cool, that's completely fine, but you didn't need to make her so important to the actual Team Flash. He or she could have been his perfect kind of lightning rod to run home to, that she could separate him from the workplace, aka being the Flash, and also being Barry Allen. That is how I see Iris West. Iris West is the person that Barry comes running home to, wink wink. Literally, that's what has been said. But what's the point of running home to somebody when you work with the person, when they're involved in every single thing involving the Flash? There is no separation between the Flash and Barry Allen, and that is a big issue. It's an issue that a lot of things, or a lot of kind of superheroes run into, especially, and it's kind of my issue with Spider-Man, or especially Insomniac Spider-Man, when we're involving MJ in a lot of the scenarios, when she could be that person Peter runs home to, separating himself from Spider-Man and also Peter Parker, which is a big thing for superheroes, right? Separating the Flash and also Barry Allen. That is massive, and a massive thing that needs to happen, and a massive thing that should always happen with superheroes. So yes, I do think it's honestly fine as long as you clean up some things. I think the adoptive sibling thing is wild, but I don't really have an issue with him being with Iris West as long as you clean some things up. She shouldn't be so involved in Team Flash. They can have their moments, but have them be separate between the Flash and Barry Allen and Iris West. I want to see more Iris and Barry moments. I think those moments would have been really, really, really amazing to watch if there was more separation. If there wasn't just Iris in every single part of every single scene because she's kind of in Team Flash. Like you have these Flash moments where Iris is still involved, but then you get out of those Flash moments where it's Barry and Iris and she's still involved, obviously. And I just feel like there was no point in having her involved in both. At least keep her separated from it and also have her do her own thing, which they were kind of doing, having her make her own stories and write stories for the papers and stuff. Have that as her thing. Have that as her kind of like her Lois Lane type of thing, where stay separated from the acts of Superman, but stay completely concrete and stand completely together with Barry Allen, right? Stand completely together and hold tight to the actual person, but stay separated from the Flash. And that's a massive thing that I will continue to preach about forever when we're talking about the CW Flash and Iris West. But there's a lot more to talk about with this awkward relationship, because in the very first season, we see how awkward it really is. We have this repetitive conflict and drama throughout the entirety of all the seasons, but the one thing that you see that is almost immediate is the fact that she blatantly is sabotaging Linda and Barry's relationship. Do I see Linda as endgame? No. Did I have a massive crush on Linda? Of course. I thought she was absolutely stunning and amazing, but that was also me when I was younger. But still, I thought she was absolutely amazing, and the fact that Iris was basically going out of her way to sabotage things was very, very odd and off-putting to a large degree. I mean, she literally is on a double date with Barry, Linda, and Eddie, and she's wiping off like ketchup or something from Barry's face, like a couple or like a girlfriend would do. Even Linda's like, what the, like, that is some weird stuff. Like, that is really weird. And even when they first meet and it's Barry and Linda, and she's like, oh, I didn't know you guys were together. And Linda's like, oh yeah, it's a really funny story. And Barry is kind of, well, ready to push her away, ready to be like, oh yeah, I'll tell you about it later. Iris looks like she's upset, like, oh, you were supposed to tell me, or this and that. Like, she's jealous, which I get it. If you are jealous and you do have feelings for Barry, and this is something Linda even brings up, then why are you making it so that supposedly you don't like him? Supposedly you don't have feelings for him. And you even told Linda this, but it's obvious that you do have feelings, because Linda caught you red-handed making all of your kind of weird advances towards Barry while on a double date with your current boyfriend. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense, man. And it's not like you can be like, oh, well, you know, they're just really close, and it's like, you know, brother and sister, best friends type of thing. No. Not even close. It is very, very weird. And I'm glad that Linda kind of points this out. And I don't think CW realized what this was really happening, or what was actually happening here, when they made Linda kind of point this out. Because it wasn't just showing that Iris had feelings for Barry and that, oh, maybe they should get together because Iris likes Barry too. But no. It was showing that Iris couldn't really dissociate from Barry and all this other, and also her current boyfriend, and separate those two. It also showed that Iris was pretty damn toxic, especially when she has rejected Barry and put him in that sibling zone, really, for a very long time. I mean, the dude was like finally making strides to getting this girl that was so good for him and so, like, you know, so sweet and so this and so that. But then boom, now out of nowhere, Iris is like, yeah, no, like I want Barry back now. It is extremely toxic, extremely messed up. And like I said, they might have had some good moments, both Iris and Barry. And sincerely, there are some decent moments, but there's just so many moments with other people that is so much better that a lot of people will look at it and be like, Barry and Iris have zero chemistry. Now, I must kind of protect them a little bit, or back them up a little bit, because I do think they have chemistry. I do think they have some chemistry, and there are some scenes that I'm like, you know what? That was really heartfelt. You know, that made me actually want to ship you guys and make you guys, you know, I really want to see this relationship win. But there's also other times that you're like, yeah, I don't want this to happen. And there's a big reason why we all believe, or most of us believe, that Iris West and CW Flash or CW Barry Allen don't have chemistry, or at least not a good amount of it, or not proper chemistry. And that's because he has so much good, or so much better chemistry with almost every single other kind of female person, aka female possible partner he could possibly have. He has such good chemistry with almost everyone else. The Linda Park had amazing chemistry with her, and in my opinion, she was on the lower end of how good the chemistry is. I think both Grant Gustin and her were really good together in terms of like working together and showing that relationship or flirty nature off. But there was even better people in almost every possible imagination. I think him and Felicity, which I've done a video recently on, I think their chemistry was super good. They were borderline like the same person. They were so perfect for each other, and it was such an amazing pairing, right? But I can look past that and think, you know what? Okay, they don't get together. That's fine. What about Caitlin Snow, someone who he's been working with for quite a while, and he's already been working with and has already shown to have a good connection with her, especially with the way she treats Barry, treats him very similar to Ronnie, her husband that passed away or died in the particle accelerator. And on top of that, you can tell that Barry just gets her out of her uncomfortable phase and really allows her to spread her wings a lot more and cares for her no matter what. Even when people look to when he destroyed her lab, when she was risking everything to get Killer Frost back, you still look at that and you know that Barry did that because he absolutely loves her. Now, it might not be romantic love in that scenario, but him and Caitlin were absolutely amazing for each other. And I can go on and on about them, and they never even dated. What about someone he's dated? What about Patty Spivot? Yeah, Patty was on the same level of like your Felicities. Yes, Patty was like Felicity, but probably even more cranked up because she was more in the line of work that Barry was in. She was super interested in forensics and in metas and this and that. Perfect for Team Flash, frankly. Imagine putting her on Team Flash. Like, she would actually be able to get usage and be able to help them quite a bit. Iris, on the other hand, didn't really have many qualifications to really help out Team Flash. And there was a lot of times where she was just there to kind of induce more drama, induce more kind of this weird kind of awkward scenarios that happen because she's there where Barry is trying to be the Flash and so on. And I'm not saying it's her fault. It is not Candice Patton's fault by any means. You guys can have your opinions on her acting skills or whatever. I don't think she's a bad actor by any means necessary. But I do believe the writing really kind of wrote Iris West into a corner and really messed it up. They wanted her to be a main character, like I said before, and they just continuously forced these romantic moments that really weren't there. We even saw in later kind of seasons that they were having romantic moments and they would like, you know, do the dirty in like weird places and kind of do things, and it's like supposed to be comedy, right? It's supposed to be haha, like that's really funny, you know, they're so passionate about each other, like they you know, do the dirty behind some or in like the speed lab or something, and it's like that's really not that funny, and we didn't really need those moments. And it wasn't like a quirky like, oh, they love each other, oh, they got such good chemistry type of moment. It really had nothing to do with anything. And frankly, I would have enjoyed it more if we had more one-on-one Barry Allen, Iris West moments outside of Team Flash, outside of being the Flash, outside of all of the crime and criminal stuff. Like, lose all that. And let's have the moments together, very similar to your Clark and Lois Lanes, right? Your Superman and Lois, which, by the way, that show was very good in terms of coupling between Lois and Clark. I know that show had its moments too in terms of like, you know, your extra drama, but that's always going to happen with CW. They just always love to do that. But having those one-on-one moments between Barry and Iris would have helped them so much. And it just, without them, it led to this awkward relationship. Not only was it awkward because they were borderline siblings, aka adopted siblings, it also was awkward because she was forced into Team Flash, or I guess the character forced her way into Team Flash without qualifications. You couldn't separate the Flash from Barry Allen and their relationship. It was as if Iris West was dating and together with the Flash and Barry Allen at the same time. You couldn't have these moments on their own, like your Superman and Lois moments on their own, where it was Barry and Iris, and that was it. No connection with the Flash. You weren't able to have those moments as much because of the intrusion of Iris West. And it kind of sucks, but I hate to admit this, but Iris West should never have been a mainstay, main character. She shouldn't have had the screen time that Barry had, right? You shouldn't have Iris West on screen that often. And it makes it so that the moments she has with Barry will feel a lot more. It's Barry's kind of way to run home and kind of enjoy his human side, right? And I know he is human, but he's a meta, or he is a super powered being, super powerful being, so he can enjoy his kind of non-superhero side with Iris and enjoy the moments way more, and we can enjoy the moments way more with Iris West and Barry together if they're not so crammed together with Team Flash and all these forced moments. It really does suck, because it could have been salvaged. The relationship between Iris West and Barry Allen could have been salvaged massively, but it just turned out to be an extremely awkward relationship. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think about CW Flash and Iris West and their relationship? I would love to hear your opinions on it. But as always, if you enjoyed, please leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. If you enjoyed the video though, YouTube believes you'll enjoy this one, so might as well go check it out.